action.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. We'll try to make this as short and sweet as we possibly can. If you don't know me, my name is Josh. I'm the director for 911. I've been there about a year. Not from Cherokee County, I'm from Greenville. My wife's from Cherokee County. We decided to move back this way. I don't come from 911. So I come from the fire department. I spent 15 years if anybody's familiar with Greenville Parker District Fire Department in Greenville. And before that I was in the military. So I've done EMS, I've done fire, I know what it's like in the field, and then I've also done some dispatch stuff in the past too, so I know what it's like there. Introduce my people. This is Greg. This is our tech services technician. He does MDTs, radios, all that stuff. That's Matt Lawson. That's our deputy director. He's in charge of tech services. Him and Greg work together to do radios and CAD and all kinds of stuff like that. That's Brooke. Brooke's our training coordinator. She does all of our compliance stuff, all of our training academy, all of that. So they're here today. Brooke's here kind of seeing this side of it, so then she can help the dispatchers and when y'all say things and stuff, she can kind of help out the dispatchers and train them as well. Obviously we're here for MARVLIS. Hopefully some of y'all have been playing around with it, clicking buttons, seeing what it's about. I think once it's 100%, it's going to be a huge thing for the county. This is a program that's used in Charlotte, Greenville, Spartanburg, all over the country. It is a predictive programming. So what it's doing is it's taking historical call data and live call data, and it's telling us where the most likelihood for calls to come in within the county are. And I'll show y'all the back end of that and show y'all what dispatch sees. The ultimate goal is obviously based on the contract and all that stuff. I don't care about a contract. I care about providing the best service to Cherokee County, right? So that's what I'm about. That's what my staff is about, and I know that's what all y'all are about too. So some of this stuff will be done in phases as far as implementation, just because we have to line up with the contract and all that stuff and make changes. We'll start out, we have completely redone, or in the process of redoing our EMS dispatch from top to bottom. Sorry about that. So we have developed a new SOP for EMS dispatch. A lot of this I'm not going to hit on. There's just a few things I want to hit on for y'all, so y'all can kind of see our side of it. Pro QA, EMD, so all of our dispatchers are now certified EMD, Emergency Medical Dispatch certified. They've all been through the class, and we utilize a program called Pro QA in there, and this is how we get that determinant that tells us, hey, it's a delta breathing problem, it's an alpha fall, whatever. That's how they're getting those determinants based off questions. In the past, it might have not been as that stringent and that strict of, hey, you need to follow the questions and everything. They left a lot of it up to the dispatchers. We're pushing towards accreditation and all kinds of stuff, so we're starting to force our dispatchers, follow your prompts. That's what it's there for. That's how we get out of trouble. If the lawyers come knocking, we can say we follow these protocols, we have a standard in place, all of that stuff. And I mean, we're only as good as the information that we get from the caller, right? So y'all are probably riding down the road, I did it all the time, what the hell do you mean? Like, why are we going to this? Or you get there and it's completely opposite of what dispatch told you. We're only as good as what the callers get, the information the callers get. The determinant code, you'll notice we implemented omegas. That was something that historically here they have coded all omega calls as alpha calls. We broke it out so that way it's better analytics and data for us, but also as we move along and we advance, maybe there's something that we can do with these BS omega calls. We can push that off on something else to keep our ALS units and everything in service. With Pro QA, there are pre-arrival instructions that our dispatchers give people. It's all in there. It tells them, hey, pack up all your medicine, get a list, secure all your dog. It tells them all that stuff. So after, starting next week, our dispatchers will start utilizing MARVLIS 100% for EMS recommendations. Right now, it's kind of a hybrid between the two. We will still have CAD recommendations, and the only time that we would use our CAD recommendations is MARVLIS goes down for whatever reason. But MARVLIS is 100% accurate, and I'll talk more about that and how it is more accurate than CAD here in just a little bit. Something that changed, I guess early this week, Brooke, was the signal change. We had implemented signals, one to reinforce with the dispatchers so they knew the codes, and two for y'all. What we found is I got one dispatcher right now because of not having enough dispatchers. One dispatcher doing fire and EMS. I can't. The fire departments get confused, and I can't say with 100% accuracy that if a dispatcher is giving out a signal, they're going to give that determinant with that signal, right? Sometimes you forget, you get busy when you got one dispatcher doing two jobs. So we cut the signals out for right now, just cut it out. We went back to just telling y'all Delta, Echo, whatever. This will get updated a little bit. We will actually ask y'all if you're en route, but same as right now, 3 minutes. If y'all haven't went en route in 3 minutes, they're gonna ask you, hey, Medic 3, are you en route? If they don't get a response, they're gonna tone out the next closest until they get a response from y'all.
That doesn't mean you have 3 minutes to get en route. You still should be en route in 60 seconds or less.
Yeah, I mean, that is just something for dispatch, yes. That is just something for dispatch, as a reminder, because nothing irks me more than to sit in my office and see all the medic units, and I got a medic unit sitting in dispatch status for 20 minutes, and dispatch hasn't done anything with it. Y'all haven't done anything with it, and I sit there, I'm like, why are we have a unit in dispatch? So it's just a reminder for them. The out of service stuff, here pretty soon, and I will let y'all know. MARVLIS, y'all side of MARVLIS isn't 100% right now. We've got to add in some things because the connection between CAD and MARVLIS isn't 100%. They're pushing an update next Tuesday that's supposed to fix everything. Some of the things that y'all eventually will be able to do is go out of service yourself, things like that. Right now, if you go out of service for any reason, you still need to tell dispatch. A big pet peeve of mine is terminology. My dispatcher saying something that y'all don't understand, y'all saying something that my dispatchers don't understand. Out of service is out of service. It's not unavailable, it's not anything, it's out of service. One thing that we're gonna implement starting next week is like for Medic 6, if Medic 6 is going end of shift, they will actually go off duty. They won't go out of service end of shift, they'll go off duty end of shift. That helps us more accurately pull reports and see what's going on with system status levels. So level 0, all busy right now. We're gonna go to system status levels. So level 0 will be your all busy. No ambulances available. We have a protocol in place for that, where the calls come in, the dispatcher notates in that call, delayed system status level 0, and then because now we have implemented priority levels on calls, MARVLIS will tell them this call needs to go first, this call needs to go second, based off the priority of that call. The dispatchers will also have the ability to flip-flop trucks. Let's say Medic 5 gets dispatched to something in Medic 1's call area because they're on a call. Well, Medic 1 clears up from the hospital or another unit. Dispatch will have the ability to say, okay, Medic 1's closer now, they just cleared up, let's cancel Medic 5. This is all training, and these are all things that will develop over time, but I felt it was important for us to go ahead and start utilizing the program now to get used to it, so as we build on, it's not just throwing everything at each other. Big one, hold on, let me pull up a email real quick. See if I can find it. Fire department medical responses. So with this change, with priorities and everything else, we approached the fire departments and told them, hey, if you want to update your medical responses, now's the time to do it. We're updating everything in CAD. They came back and this is what they decided. You know, you got Station 1. Station 1 only wants to respond to echo calls, right? So they're only in CAD to respond to echo calls. I'll make sure y'all have a copy of this, so that way y'all know. I'm be upfront, right? I get complaints all the time about y'all from the fire departments. Why are they constantly asking us to come out for stuff? And then law enforcement. Why are they constantly asking law enforcement to come to calls, right? So we are trying to do things to alleviate a lot of that, right? Law enforcement feels like there's some calls they shouldn't need to go on. Fire department feel like there's some calls, right? I've got my opinions on it, but hey, I kind of try to stay in my lane, right? There's nothing that says that if y'all need them, y'all can still call them, okay? I'll leave it at that. If you need them, call them. They all said that they will still go. We just don't want to get in the habit of every single Delta call or Charlie call that Station 1 runs, y'all are asking for Station 1 to go to, right? Any questions on that? And this is very important, so if y'all have questions as we go, like, please. That also includes if y'all are at level 0. Traditionally, if y'all are at level 0, we're gonna dispatch the fire department. Fire departments have voted, if y'all are at level 0 and it's not a call that they don't normally go on, they're not gonna go on it, right? Once again, I've got my opinions on it, but I'm not them and I'm not a fire chief here. So I gotta kind of go by what they want for their department.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So typically, if we have like, say a 23, 24 minute ETA, we would previously would say, hey, can we go ahead and get fired? That way somebody is with the patient, so we're not.
I'm gonna tell you, if it were me, I have the same mindset and I would do that, but it's gonna cause problems because they are getting very fed up with and it's not y'all, right? We know we need more ambulances, we need this, we need that. Fire departments might need to pick up more slack on things, you know. I understand all that, and those are things that get worked on in the background, but this is what, this is what we go on. Yeah, so that Mike was there at the meeting, they basically said they don't want to go hold hands. So. On the mutual aid request, we're still going to be in contact with QRV2, if for mutual aid stuff. But what we're trying to do is kind of be proactive instead of reactive. If my dispatchers can go ahead and call Spartanburg, call Cleveland, whatever, say, hey, y'all just be ready. We're level 0, be ready. That's better than calling them and saying, hey, we just got a cardiac arrest, and y'all respond, and they're at level 0 too, right? At least we have some sort of heads up.
Is there a mutual aid agreement in place with these guys, or are they just responding?
So it needs to be something between Thorne and these counties, and I'm not sure. But what I can tell you is, since I've been here, I've made the call several times when I've been in dispatch, and y'all been out on the interstate, and it's been right there at the Spartanburg, Cherokee. Go ahead and have Spartanburg send the EMS unit that way to help them out, so we're not completely out of county. So that's the kind of mindset that I'm trying to get the dispatchers in. Hey, if I can go ahead and make a phone call and get some help or whatever, then that's what I'm gonna do. Can y'all excuse me 1 second?
And so to answer your question, Tim, there is a
Yes,
general mutual aid agreement
Okay.
with emergency management and the surrounding counties for.
That's good. That's good to know.
Everything that happened yesterday, when we get done with this training.
So is he talking about, I'm new to this county, so I'm learning. Is he talking about like volunteer fire departments, getting everybody involved, getting called out and everything?
All fire departments.
Isn't it their job, the city?
I get what they're saying.
They have
Same
to-
thing with law enforcement. We're calling for law enforcement for way too many things.
Okay.
Second day in a row that I forgot about Renee.
The city had their own like designated medical.
She's like, I didn't know I was so forgettable. I was like,
Oh, sorry. Wait, Federal County?
yeah.
I wouldn't have.
Does the city fire department, I'm new to this county, I'm learning, so like, does the city fire department have their own designated medical first responder? No, that makes sense then, okay.
I come from Greenville where everybody's either EMT, EMR, paramedic, so it's different for me too, right? I've had to, and it's taken me a year to get in the mindset of rural community, 95% volunteer. They don't do what I'm used to, so it's taken me a while to kind of get in that mindset of. And then I mentioned terminology. And y'all get a copy of this. Like I said, a lot of this isn't something that y'all need to worry about, but on the terminology side, the more that we can be the same, the better off it is in dispatch, right? Any questions on the policy stuff? One thing I will hit on real quick is there will be, Greg's been working on it in CAD, probably next week as well. We're gonna have some status timers. I talked to y'all about the en route status timer that will kind of notify dispatch, hey, they hadn't went en route, let's check on them. We're gonna have a couple more. The other one will be on scene. So if you've been on scene for 20 minutes, they're gonna do a status check with you, make sure you're okay, if they haven't heard from you. And then if you have been at the hospital for longer than 20 minutes, that might change. The timing on that might change based on y'all's leadership and what y'all's leadership feels like. But if you're at the hospital for 20 minutes, they're gonna say, medic 1, can you clear? Stuff like that, especially if we're at like a level 0 status or something like that. That's when they're gonna start picking up, hey, medic 1, I need you to clear. You can always come across the radio and say, hey, we're delayed for bed or decon or whatever, but they're gonna try to push those ambulances as fast as they can out of the hospital to get more trucks on the road.
On dispatch, and are y'all gonna be tracking patient contact times?
No.
Okay.
We do not track that. So with MARVLIS, this is meant, and I say this in the nicest way possible, this is meant to get y'all off the radio. This is meant to utilize the radio for the important stuff, right? Not the en routes, the on scenes, the transportings, all that stuff. The hey, I needed an additional medic unit, I need this, I need that. Can you send? That's what the radio is there for. Everything else you will be utilizing on your own.
So with MARVLIS, we don't go en route and clear from the call itself over the radio.
No.
We do everything on the computer.
So everything on the computer, and I'll hit on that. The only 2 things that you cannot do on the computer is close call out yourself. Right now, you will have that capability in the future, or when you clear up from the hospital, right? So when you clear up from the hospital, you'll have to let dispatch know so they can close that call out for you. And then like out of service and stuff like that, you can't do that by yourself. But everything else, on scene, transport, everything you can do on your own. And we'll walk through all of that. So, first thing I'm going to show y'all is MARVLIS. Alright, so this is what dispatch sees. There are 3 positions that have MARVLIS on it, and 2 TV screens in dispatch? So a total of like 5 monitors in dispatch that have MARVLIS. Supervisor has a screen with MARVLIS on it. In our fire and EMS pod, 2 of those positions have MARVLIS on it, and then we have 2 TV screens on the opposite sides of dispatch that have MARVLIS. As you can see up here in the top right corner, that's your recommendation. So this was I don't even know what that is, 106 Judson Road, but if this was a Delta, Alpha, Echo, Delta, whatever kind of call, it would be a different color on there, and it would show you, hey, the top unit is your closest unit, bottom unit's your backup, and that stays up there for the length of that call. So if y'all get on scene and say, hey, can you send me my next closest ambulance or medic unit, then all they got to do is look up on the screen and say number 2 is this, and they dispatch out that unit. historically, when y'all have asked that, it's been a whole big process that dispatchers had to go through to figure out who the closest unit to y'all is. Now it's a glance up and look at it. So the little green areas around there, green and yellow. So the green is the least likely, but there's still a likelihood of calls coming in. The yellow is that kind of medium, and the red and the purple and all that, just like a thunderstorm, whatever. Hey, that means it's really, really bad. You can see all that's focused in the middle, of the city. Eventually, we hope to get to the point with y'all of not everybody, but being able to move some ambulances around the county throughout the day to hit these hot spots, whether it be fire stations or just going to medic 2's on a call and we feel like we need somebody over there, move this truck over to medic 2's post or something like that for a little bit, right? Those are things that come with the contract and working with y'all's leadership, but eventually we hope that we can get to that point. Any questions so far? I'm not gonna hit too far on this. This bottom left, the band coverage, that is how much of the county is covered right now. MARVLIS likes you to be between 80 and 100 or 80 and 90%, somewhere in that range. I can tell you right now, since we've had this live, we have not been in that range. But that gives us another tool to say, okay, we need more ambulances in the county, we need this, we need that, right? I can tell you through the back end tools, I can pull, there's a tool in here on the back end to where I can literally put in all of our historical data, and it will tell me where EMS stations need to be located in the county based off of the call data. So we have a lot of tools that we're utilizing to try to help y'all out, help us out. But this is what dispatch sees. The what if tool is something that the dispatchers will be trained on, and a lot of that is a medic unit goes on a call and they need an intercept. Well, dispatch can actually go in there and do a what if and say, okay, well, if they're gonna meet at this point, what EMS unit do I need to dispatch to be able to meet them, and things like that. So there's a lot of cool things that we can do. It's kind of hard to show y'all. Maybe I can click, let's see, minute 6, but it probably won't. Kind of hard to show y'all because everybody's on top of each other here, but if you see this blue area, each unit has a blue area around it, and that blue area is an 8-minute response time. So anywhere, MARVLIS is saying that you can get anywhere in that blue area in 8 minutes, and that's what your availability is based off of, right? That changes. So one thing I'll hit on when we go over the mobile stuff is this is taking in live traffic data. So it's just like your Google, Apple Maps, all that stuff. It's taking in all that live traffic data. So as 85 backs up and stuff, your blue thing's gonna shrink down and it's gonna change and with the traffic patterns and everything. Dispatch also has the ability to go in and put barriers in. So if there's road closure and stuff, and it'll adjust you and tell you, hey, go. I have not utilized that much, only minimally on the EMS side for MARVLIS, but what I've been told by people in the field in Greenville and other places is trust your routing. Trust that routing that MARVLIS is giving you. You might think that it's faster to take a left, but MARVLIS knows that it's faster if you take a right. And there are ways, like if MARVLIS doesn't give you the right route, then you report that. We can actually go back and we can do an AVL playback and we can see exactly why MARVLIS recommended, and if it needs to be fixed, we can fix it. Any questions so far? All right. These posts, as you see here, like we have the ability, we can put a medic unit at post, and we'll hit on that when we get into the mobile side of it. One thing that y'all will be doing is y'all pull up back in the station here, you'll hit a button that says at post. You hit at post, you say, medic 1's post, and that way it puts you there. And what that does is it actually puts a delay on your unit. puts a 2-minute delay on your unit that says, hey, it's gonna take them, and we can change the delay time, but it's gonna take them 2 minutes to get up, get the pants on, whatever it is, get out, start the truck up, get out the door. So if Medic 5's driving by the station to go, you know, somewhere, whatever, they might get hit up because it's gonna say Medic 5 is available, they're driving down the road, they can get to that call a lot faster than Medic 1 who's at the station. So, we'll start utilizing that at post or at station status. Alright, so, on all your desktops, on your MDTs and your trucks, you'll see a Marvelous client icon. If you double click it, if it's not up, it should come up. And if you restart your computer, for whatever reason, if you give it a minute, Marvelous will populate. It'll automatically pop up, right? In your trucks, your username and your password are automatically saved in there. Don't pay attention to your username and your password. That does not dictate what truck you are on. Right here, where the little vehicle is, that's what truck you're on. So if you're logged in, if you got to get into a spare truck and the username is spare EMS truck or whatever the username for that truck is, you don't have to touch any of that stuff. You come in here and whatever medic you're on, if you're medic 5 getting into a spare truck, you just say M5 and you log in as M5. So your username, password mean absolutely nothing when it comes to what unit you're actually on. The only thing you have to worry about is that little vehicle. So I think I have one. Oh no, I can log in as Medic 7. So I'll log in as Medic 7 real quick. The first screen you come up to is the map. That's going to tell you where everything is. I think Mike's ADL's messing up a little bit, so that's why he's over there. Y'all will have a, y'all will be, there are certain restrictions and stuff on here. Fire departments are not linked into Marvelous right now, so y'all will not see the fire departments, and y'all will not see law enforcement. Unfortunately, y'all should not have been able to see law enforcement from the get-go, but our current CAD, you're not able to hide where law enforcement is. But starting with Marvelous, EMS will not be able to see where law enforcement is. That's a huge security thing for them. So, on here, starting on the right-hand side here, this first little button you have pulls up all historical calls. So it's not just, shouldn't be just for your unit, it should be for all EMS units. You can see your historical calls. One thing that we, some feedback that we got from the Medic 1 crews that have been kind of demoing this and testing it out is y'all use mileage a lot for stuff on your EPCRs and everything. So we've added in some mileage boxes. If those aren't working appropriately, because Marvelous is still trying to work through capturing that data from CAD, please let somebody know so we can make sure. I try to pay attention to it, but we get busy sometimes and I can't have this up 24/7, 365. But we've tried to put in your times, so you can have all your times and everything in there, your mileage. And if there's other columns that y'all would like, more information, pass that up. This is all, we can change a lot of this stuff, right? So that's where you'll get your historical calls. The next one, oh, sorry, go ahead.
We're probably about to ask the same
Does
question.
it show, like at destination and in service? I didn't see that on that screen.
So that's probably something that we can add in, is arrived at and what.
And then when we're clear.
Yes. So we can probably add those in.
Yeah, because if we're going back after the call to get all of our times.
Yes.
We'll need those.
And is there a way, like, I know in Zutra we can go in and like type in the CFS number or just the address.
A search function.
Yeah, are we able to search
So
instead
you
of having to
can
go through
search
that
by an
place?
address here, and I don't. I don't know if they've turned on the feature where this will link back to the historical calls or not. But I believe that is a feature that we can add on.
Right, cause I know sometimes, I mean, there's times where, you know, say we'll get a call sent back to us after a QI, and we have to go back in, pull up the call, so if we don't, if we can't search it, we can't pull it up and figure out, you know, everything that's going on.
Yeah, let me, Greg, can you write that down? Searching for historical calls in MARVLIS, and then.
Say again, please.
Searching for historical calls in MARVLIS, like if there's a search function.
That address search you just showed, that'll show previous calls at whatever address.
I'm not, well, let's test it out here.
1101 Cliffside.
11.
That was so fast.
Like I said, I don't know if,
Okay,
yeah, it's just gonna pull up that address point.
okay.
So there is another function in there, it just probably has not been. In here, you can get your route history too, so anything, any previous calls that you have ran, you can go in there and you actually look at the route that you drove and the route that it suggested and all that stuff. A lot.
But that doesn't show the historical data. Correct.
Right now, no, but I'll get with MARVLIS, and I'm almost positive that's something that we can implement. Your facility routing, this is gonna do a lot of this stuff on its own, but for whatever reason, if y'all got out somewhere and you're like, man, I can't remember how to get back to Medic 5's post, well, you can click Medic 5's post and it's gonna take you there. And then also by drive time, if I had GPS active, ABL active on my computer, then you could actually see what was closer by drive time. And then system, you really don't need to mess with full screen, and you don't want to mess with the exit. Moving down here, these are current calls going on right now. If you click this button, next one down, it's your current calls. You can click it and you can see all of what's going on. If you were assigned to a call, then it would automatically populate right there and all that call data would be there. As you can see, your mileage, arrived at mileage is right there. So it gave you, your arrived at mileage, and I think, so we need to add in the arrived at time, which that's easy. I had them custom add all this stuff in so I can have them add that in. So if you're curious on, what other medic units are on or whatever, you can click that, get all that information.
If you want mileage added as well?
Mileage is in there.
It is in there,
Yeah.
okay.
The next one down is all of your units, so you can see the units, and then you can actually see, this is how long they've been in that status. So especially for supervisors and stuff, you can sit there and you can see, okay, well, they've been in transport status now for 25 minutes. They've been in this status for this long. So you can actually see that with one click of a button. This is gonna be restricted down. Supervisors will have one screen, medics will have another screen. That way, they will see more. On the bottom here, your user, like we said, doesn't matter what user it is that you're logged into. This is the important part. Make sure that your unit matches.
Good Lord.
We have had several instances of EMS moving into a spare truck, leaving CAD up on one, the truck that they're moving out of, and bringing up CAD in the other truck, and then AVLs fighting against each other, right? So, you can see it on the map. Me and Matt looked one day, and it's just sitting there flashing and going all over the place because AVL is just going crazy because 2 trucks were logged in with AVL going. So please make sure if you're moving into that spare truck, log out of, just shut down your computer. Over here, on the left, your server, it's either gonna say primary or secondary server. That always has to be green. If it's red, that means you're offline. That first thing, that little old IT saying, just restart it. Normally 9 times out of 10, a restart's gonna fix it. If a restart doesn't fix it, then that's when you start contacting your leadership and getting it going. Same thing with GPS. If it's blue, that means no GPS. If it's red, that means no GPS. And if it's green, that means you got GPS going. Here, you can choose different things. So if I click traffic, it's gonna give me, live traffic data. So it's gonna tell me where roads are green, red, yellow, all that stuff based off of live traffic. Map data, these are your different maps that you have. I can click dark and leave it in dark mode. The follow me, exactly what it says, it's gonna follow you. Rotate, you can actually make it long ways if you wanted. And then route focus is kind of like, I think some of y'all use like Active 911 on your truck phones and stuff, where it gives you like that from point A to point B in that route. That's kind of what route mode is. It kind of gives you that overview of that route. Recenter, it's just gonna recenter on top of you. Obviously I don't have GPS right now, so it's being all funky. This, if I click this person thing, it's gonna take all my units off the screen. If I click it again, it'll put all the units and calls and everything on the screen. Plus, minus, y'all use Google Maps. You can pinch and zoom and do all that crap just like you can on your phone. Any questions so far on this? Alright, so I'm gonna log out of this unit real quick. Log in as me. Alright, so next thing I want to hit briefly on, I think it's important for y'all to kind of know our side of things, right? The processes that we have to go through to even get that unit out the door. So 911 call comes in, the first thing they're gonna do, they're gonna press new CFS, and Brooke's probably gonna yell at me because I'm gonna tell y'all completely wrong with what they do because I'm not a dispatcher. But we're gonna try. If we'll load. Maybe not. I broke it.
Damn it.
Better call IC.
Got too much going. Hang on, come on. Alright. Come on. Okay, so 911 call comes in, first thing they do is they hit new CFS. If it freezes up on me again. Alright, so 911, what's your emergency, or what's the address of your emergency? First question they're gonna ask, right? Is that's the most important thing, is at least if we know where it's at, we can get somebody going to them. So I'll type in 110 Railroad. I normally, I did CAD training for all the fire departments in Greenville. I would burn down fire stations every time I did this, Now we'll send something to the administration building. If this was a medical call, I don't have ProQA on this, but what'll happen is they'll hit F12 on their keyboard, ProQA will pop up, and they'll start asking those questions. Y'all can see it in the call notes when it says ProQA and it gives you all the codes and it tells you everything. They're asking those questions verbatim on there, everybody, to every single caller. And those questions change based off of the chief complaint of what the caller's telling us, questions will change. So if a cardiac arrest comes in, the dispatcher doesn't have to ask 10 questions right out the gate. They ask 2 questions. Are they breathing? They say no. ProQA tells them send units now. They go, they dispatch the units, and then they come back and they start doing their follow-up questions and stuff. So you might see after you get dispatched, more information will start populating in those call notes because they're back on the phone, giving CPR instructions, whatever it may be, asking that follow-up information.
Will they are they allowed to put a helicopter on standby according to like all criteria?
So we will get to that point. That was part of us changing this stuff, is we will get to that point, right? There will be certain codes, certain determinants, certain things that we go ahead and either standby, auto launch.
Okay.
I'll hit on the OLOS program that we started implementing in dispatch. So we partnered with Regional, and they have a web program called OLOS, and we can literally go in there. It'll be up on our dispatcher screen all the time. Y'all request a helicopter, we go in, it's their CAD. So we put in, hey, we need a helicopter at this address, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. We fill out a couple of boxes, we hit submit. They are automatically putting auto launching, doing all of that based off of that information that we gave them. We can see from start to finish when they get in the helicopter and turn their rotors on, we see it, it turns green, their flight path, everything. We even have the ability to send y'all a link to where y'all can watch that helicopter's flight path and ETAs and everything while you're on scene, while you're waiting on the helicopters. So it's a huge thing. I think that's gonna be great. Brooke's been working really hard to get our dispatchers spun up on it. But I think that it's gonna help us with the phone a friend that we do all the time with the helicopters. It's even so intuitive that like if Regional has no helicopters available, they're gonna start reaching out to, you know, Med Center and all those other ones to try to get us the closest helicopter and the best available. So all that's done. Next thing, ProQA. ProQA's said that it's gonna be a Charlie 1 abdominal pain. Traditionally, what would happen then is you come down here and you see Medic 1 is recommended for it. Well, if I come over here, it's gonna tell me, okay, that's a Charlie priority, that's a yellow, it's a Charlie priority for us. We color coded everything so it's quick visual references for our dispatchers and y'all, right? If you learn the colors, you can look at something and say that's a Charlie, that's a Delta, that's whatever. There's quick visual references for the dispatchers, and it's gonna tell me, okay, Medic 2, Admin 202, and then Medic 1 are your closest units to go there, and your ETAs, your times. So that's what it tells the dispatchers. We don't go off of this unless MARVLIS is down, because this is based off static address points. It doesn't take in live traffic data. Y'all probably tried to use the CAD map and cussed it a million times because it's crap, right? Any CAD map that you use, it's crap because we have to physically go in there and put the address points in. We have to physically go in and update the map. With MARVLIS, it's done automatically, just like Google or Apple or any of that stuff. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna demonstrate from dispatch. I'm gonna put myself on this call. You hear that loud, god-awful sound, letting you know that a call has been assigned to you, and then this will pop up on your screen. It's gonna tell you this problem nature for right now. It's coming across as the EMD codes. We are in the process. That should be part of that update that comes out next week with MARVLIS, where it'll actually give you the full description of it. But for whatever reason, the link's broken, and all we're getting is the ProQA codes.
And there will be a copy of all the EMD codes at your station. I already have them printed off.
The Alpha through Echo is actually our priorities, right? So those are our priorities, and based off of what we decide together with y'all's leadership and everything will be based off of if you respond emergent, non-emergent, right? That's what that is designed for. In Greenville, If any of y'all work there or whatever, like an alpha call is a non-emergent call, a Bravo is kind of like the crew can kind of decide, you know, whether they run emergent or not, and then your Charlie's, Deltas and stuff is a emergent call, right? Same concept here, same thing we're trying to get to is, you don't need to run hot to everything. You know, these fire departments don't have to run hot to everything. You know, that's where a lot of your accidents and fatalities and emergency services come from is intersections. So that's the direction we're going. As I said, you'll see all this. So anything in red is new information. So anything you see populating in red is something new that's came across. If I hit acknowledge, that red's gonna go away. If I were to put in a comment in here, a comment, I come back over here, that comment's gonna be down there and it's gonna be in red, right? So anything new that dispatch is putting across to you, that's gonna be in red. Down here is your closest transport facility to that call. So it's gonna tell you what your closest. We know there's several different facilities that we don't have in Marvelous right now. Mike sent me a list. We're getting those built in there. If there's something that's not in the list that y'all need to transport to, let dispatch just come over the radio and let dispatch know. We are gonna open this up on the call that I have next week with Marvelous. It'll actually give you your top, just like on the dispatch side, it gives us our top 3 closest units. This will give you your top 3 closest hospitals, just so to make y'all aware. Any questions so far on that stuff? All right, so you've got the call. I've got the call. I've, went to the bathroom, got in the truck, whatever you do. You're gonna get in the truck. You're gonna hit en route. You're gonna go en route. In dispatch is gonna show that as en route, right? Color is yellow. They know if they glance at the screen, they know yellow means en route. They know you're en route. I'm driving along, and if I had my ABL GPS on this computer, then that's when my turn-by-turn directions would start populating. So it would start populating my turn-by-turn directions there, and I think it talks to you and all that stuff. So I'm driving along, get there, I hit on scene. It's gonna put me in on scene, and it's a little delayed because I'm using this VPN thing to get back, but y'all are getting the concept. Same thing, it changes to orange in dispatch, they see that. So, you loaded up the patient, partner's in the back, you get in the cab, you look at the computer, y'all are transporting, you click transport, it's gonna give you a list, you click hospitals, next, then it's gonna give you a list of hospitals.
Can you communicate through dispatch? Can you chat with dispatch?
I recommend not to, because we are so busy in there that we're not gonna be.
Well, I mean, limited to a patient update or something.
Yeah, I mean, we turned off the chat function just because we didn't want confusion.
Distraction.
Yeah, and we had a incident in Greenville where some young firemen were wanting to talk to some EMS women, and they were using chat functions on their MBTs to hey, that medic on that call we just ran was cute. Let me get on there and start typing with that medic unit. And you realize that anything you put in here is recorded, so we can see it, and people got into trouble. So I'm anti-chat just for that function.
Call updates, patient updates, and requested additional assistance needs to be overrated.
Yes. So as soon as you click that, you click submit, it's gonna put you in that transport to Cherokee Medical, and once again, it's gonna give you that turn-by-turn directions to that medical facility. Even if you're outside of the county, going to Cleveland, going to Greenville, whatever, we've expanded this map out to where y'all can get those turn-by-turn directions to all of your transport facilities. So if you're in the sticks somewhere in Cherokee County and they wanna go to Prisma, you can figure out how to get to Prisma. Cause I know that happens to y'all. Alright, you get to the hospital, put the ambulance in park, person driving the truck reaches over, they click arrived at. You're in that arrived at status. You can go in, do your thing with the patient. You get done, you get back to your truck. Currently, you cannot go back available yourself because you cannot clear this call out yourself. Y'all will have the ability in the future once that update gets pushed across and everything. So at this point, you get dispatch, you know, Medic 1's clear from Cherokee Medical. And they'll clear a call out and it'll go away and y'all go about your day. One of the things that will get pushed up next week is that app post. So as soon as you get back to your station, you click that post, the post that you're at. So that way it tracks those delays, and it also gives us a good, when we go to pull records of how many times did that truck actually get back to their station before they got a call, or, you know, things like that, right?
And in a future update, we'll also have the out of service.
Yes.
Off-duty.
Yep, you'll also have the out of service, you'll be able to go out of service yourself, and then hopefully today I can go ahead and implement the off-duty thing in CAD. So when you pull up, you'll have a couple options across the top here, and you know, you'll have off-duty and out of service and things that y'all can be able to click those. And they will be monitored, so like, you know, don't do what some of us like to do in Greenville, and I wanted to stay out of service because I want to go to the fuel pumps and not get hit up for the headquarters calls, so I'm gonna stay in out of service while I go get fuel. Don't do that.
So I will say, especially on my shift, if you hit out of service for any reason, you just shoot me a text.
Yeah.
And let me know why, because I'm still held accountable for why we're out of service.
So, and a lot of this, it's different for me too. I'm not used to working with hey, they're contracted and, you know, we have a contract that we have to do, you know. We'll work it out.
Map books on the truck, like old school map books or not? Like worst case scenario, something down there. Sells out.
Alright, so if you call dispatch, you say, hey, I'm clear. All they're gonna do is they're gonna come in here and they're gonna type complete. And for this purpose, I'm just gonna do tests, but they have, you know, transport to this, transport to that. I close out that call goes away. And then over here, I still have my information, so I can leave it up on my screen if I needed to get stuff from my EPCR, or I can hit close and it's just gonna take me back. Any questions on any of that? Y'all need to walk through it one more time. Pressing buttons pretty easy. So, a couple of things that I ask. Press buttons, because that's the direction we're going in, right? If for any reason your MDT in your truck is malfunctioning or whatever, obviously you're gonna have to talk on the radio, right? Let dispatch know. Dispatch, my MDT is not responding, can you go ahead and place me en route? That way dispatch knows it's not just y'all want to talk on the radio and they've got something else going on and they're expecting y'all to press buttons. We're in constant communication, because what irks me to no end is to hear my dispatchers in there complaining about law enforcement, an officer or an EMS unit or a fire department or whatever, and they're in there complaining and cussing, and I'm like, you don't understand what they're doing on the other side. You know what I mean? Like, they could have something where they needed to say something or they needed to do this. So the more they understand, the better off we're gonna be. So if for whatever reason you have to talk on the radio for an en route or on scene or anything because your computer's not responding, just tell them, hey, my MDT is not responding. And we'll get to the point where dispatch will be able to recognize, okay, they're ABL, they're not locked, whatever it may be. Medic 1, can you restart your MDT? You know, stuff like that to help each other out. Y'all can't pay attention all the time, and unfortunately, I got one dispatcher doing 2 jobs in there right now. So the more I can take off of them with y'all pressing buttons and being a little bit more self-sufficient, the better off citizen safety for the entire county is, because that dispatcher can focus on other things. As we move along, as we push out stuff, anytime an update gets pushed out to this or something, just like the off-duty thing, it requires to restart Marvelous. So all you would do is I would send like a text or an email to Steven or to Mike or something and say, hey, we just pushed out an update. Can you have everybody restart Marvelous? Come up here, click the X, close out of it, come back in, click the Marvelous icon, let it load back up, log back in, and you'll see that update. You'll see whatever we updated. So they're constantly pushing out. They're sending me like little update packages with maps and all kinds of different things and stuff. Not so much for the live map data, but for like the layers and the fire department responses and stuff that we're going to be implementing. So, comments, questions, concerns? Y'all have anything, questions as far as why we do something in dispatch or why we, complain, now's the time. You got dispatch command staff here and stuff, so if there's anything that questions y'all have or anything like that, we'd be more than happy to answer them for y'all. We're in a complete rebuild phase in dispatch, I think, fair to say, where we're coming, we're trying to get compliant in several areas and trying to do some really good things to help not just y'all, but our law enforcement agencies, fire departments, everybody else. One of the next pushes that we'll have is that all the fire department responses are getting ready all the incident codes are getting ready to change for them, and all of the response packages on stuff is getting ready to change for them. So, as y'all know, I'm sure y'all don't really listen to law enforcement channels, but we're changing over Plain Talk on law enforcement. So we're almost 100% on the Plain Talk stuff on the law enforcement side. That's why I'm so big on when I hear y'all say 10-8 or something like that. I'm like, if we can do Plain Talk on the law enforcement side, we can do it on EMS side, because EMS has traditionally been Plain Talk from the get-go. So, y'all got anything for us?
Nope.
Please communicate. Communicate with your leadership, communicate with us. If there's problems with Marvelous, if y'all have suggestions on things, if y'all, run into a thing and you're like, hey man, it might be cool if it could do this or that, please let us know. I have a direct line to the owner of Marvelous where I have his cell phone number, and I can call him and say, hey, our EMS crews, they're EMS oriented. All of them are, spent 30 years in EMS, and they do a lot of good stuff with Medic in Charlotte and stuff like that. Most of those guys came from Medic in Charlotte. Very smart on the EMS side. So if there's things that y'all have, they'd be more than happy to accommodate. And if y'all ever want to come, into dispatch, I don't know if y'all know, but we have a completely new remodeled dispatch center. So if y'all ever want to come to dispatch and kind of see everything, I'm more than welcome to come.
Field trip.
Nice folks over there.
We like to think so.
We blessings at this fact, don't let them take no loss.
I take them goodies, it makes them happy.
Yes.
Yes, yes, he does.
So, after y'all were the last shift, so after today, the expectation is for y'all to press buttons, for y'all to do these things on your own. Only come over to the radio for the priority stuff, right? It's very difficult for that EMS and fire dispatcher, especially when both EMS and fire are going, because they're having to listen to both in the ear on 2 different channels and keying up on 2 different channels. So I ask all of y'all, press your buttons, do your stuff, because that dispatcher is overworked as it is. I mean, if y'all got, $180,000, $90,000, want to give me 3 or 4 more dispatchers, then I'd appreciate it. That's that, and we'll, as we build on this and stuff, there'll be additional trainings and things for y'all. Like, we're not just gonna throw it at you and say, here's, I'm real big on, I want this to work and I want it to be as 100% as it can, so we'll make sure that y'all are informed and we do additional trainings. Starting next week, Zerker will be deleted off your computers, probably after that update comes out and everything gets fixed between the links. But right now, Zerker in the background and utilize MARVLIS, right? Just have Zerker in the background because it's helping our GPS AVL stuff.
So by the time that gets deleted, it'll show like our destination and clear times.
Yes, yeah, it should, yes. I'll make sure before Zerker gets deleted that stuff is in there. So, any additional questions? Appreciate all y'all. No, it's gonna be difficult for certain ones to not talk on the radio.
So,